Fred Ndidi made his first Premier League appearance of the season in an orthodox centre-back role for Leicester City, who trounced West Bromwich Albion by 3-0 at the Heartons on Sunday. The Nigerian midfielder who had played an hour in defence in the 40th final pre-season friendly against Blackburn posted a decent performance in his makeshift role despite a nervous start that included some Navy back pass. Now, his compatriot Kelechi Nwakali was an unused substitute in the victory over West Bromwich Albion. Unfortunately, JPK, Nigeria's Semi Ajayi also made his bow in the Premier League for West Bromwich Albion, but he ended up on the losing side. Yeah. So, away from the performance of Nigeria players across Europe over the weekend, let me now tell you that former Super Eagles defender Ifeanyi Udeze has urged the Nigeria Football Federation, the Minister of Sports and Youth Development, as well as the federal government to collaborate with other stakeholders in the country to build a Hall of Fame museum to make it easy for Nigerians to recognize and appreciate players that made sacrifices and used their talent to boost the image of the country at different times. Speaking in the wake of the demise of our ex-Eagle star Jibade Babalade last week, Udeze said it's imperative for Nigerian footballers to be honored and remembered after contributing their quota to the national football development, adding that building a Hall of Fame museum will spur the current players, to be more committed to the national duties. Now, there's a quoted noted that Babalade's death presented our stakeholders the opportunity to reflect and plan how to honor Nigerian retired internationals. Typically, he's absolutely right. The only part I'm not so comfortable with is the fact that he wants a museum. I don't think we need a museum right now. I think we need to create an online portal. JPK, the world has moved on from how to call it now, from these physical structures and what have you. Considering our inability to manage and maintain physical structures, we have a terrible record in that regard as a nation. I'd like to have an online portal that can be accessed from anywhere in the world. Yeah. I mean, I want to see players that played for Nigeria in 1980s, for example. Why do I have to go to some museum that will be situated probably in Lagos or in Abuja or... Well, it's still going to be in Delta State. I can guarantee you that. All I need to do basically is to log on to some online portal. Now, even if it means me probably buying a scratch card to be able to access it, it's possible. It's easier. It saves me transport, saves me time, and what have you. I can easily access...
Same revenue you're going to generate from tickets.
Exactly.
For someone to enter into the museum.
Absolutely. It's the same thing, an online thing. That way, rather than build some building that will probably go out of date after maybe 10 years, you can be rest assured that maybe the construction will be even poorly done. Sometimes considering our history as a people. I'm just simply saying, rather than that, create an online portal where people can go, and it's very, very scientific. Sometimes you want to watch some clips from the 1980s, or the years before that. It's so hard to find. And then sometimes you hear that so ex-international, then you're like, did you actually play for Nigeria?
I think the best we'll be able to do for some of them is to name a stadium after them or name one road after them.
But we don't have enough stadium, we don't have enough facilities to do that. When Agbana Barry died, I was like, oh man, it's so hard. At some point, I actually forgot that he played for Nigeria. Okay, I'm just simply saying, create an online portal, let the younger generation have access to these things. That way they'll be able to appreciate the contribution of these individuals going forward. All right, away from football as it connects Nigeria, let me now take you to the English Premier League. It was all exciting at the weekend. JPK, the ping pong game involving Leeds United and Liverpool was the perfect way to start off a league season. But before we talk about that, Moreno, guys, he suffered an unwanted career first yesterday when his side went down 1-0 to Everton in their opening game of the Premier League season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin headed past Hugo Lloris 10 minutes into the second half to consign Spurs to defeat. Now, it is the first time, JPK, the first time in Moreno's 20-year coaching career that the Portuguese has started the league season with a defeat. The 57-year-old had a record of 11 wins and 7 draws in his side's first Liga matches of the season before the Toffees got the better of Spurs at Tottenham Sports Stadium yesterday. I mean, JPK, it was even at home. Yeah, it was really. And in the Premier League, it it is just the second time a Mourinho side has dropped points in the opening day of the season. The last time that happened, that was in the 2015-2016 season when Swansea City pulled off a 2-2 draw against a Mile-led team. GPK, what happened yesterday was a shocker for me.
Josie, are we seeing a decline in the career of Mourinho? I mean, looking at consistent happenings for the past, say, 1-2 seasons, from the clubs to places he's gone to the kind of players he bought and was not able to use, to his off and on the pitch bust up. Are we seeing a decline of Mourinho? Because, I mean, I think this man used to be associated with something remarkable. In fact, he earned himself the name the Special One. Is there something really still special about Mourinho?
I sincerely doubting Mourinho, especially after he signed at Manchester United. Now, pretty much him signing players he didn't need. I listened to Alexis Sanchez, when he blamed everybody but himself for his failed time at Manchester United. While I have my concerns about some of the things that Alexis said, the fact that Alexis mentioned the fact that it was because a move to City failed to materialize, that was why he joined Manchester United. It made me ask myself, you signed Alexis Sanchez that you didn't need. You signed Fred, you didn't need. There was, what do they call him again? Lindelof that you couldn't find a better to use. And there was Diego Dalot. You hailed him as the best player in his position. And Diego Dalot can still find his way under a youthful team or under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm definitely saying, I'm beginning to ask questions, of the man Mourinho. I think he's gradually losing it. I mean, talk around Tottenham lately has revolved around the success of their Amazon documentary. But yesterday was a day when 4 giant screens told the real story. In the absence of a match going with supporters, Tottenham had pictures beamed into their sparkling stadium of fans, virtually watching the action. Now, chin in their hands and arms folded tightly, their gloom looks told everything you needed to know about Tottenham. Now, it would be stretching things to call this a horror show, but if this is to be an indication of what is in store for Tottenham, it's not going to make for an enjoyable viewing. Jose Mourinho looked enraged at the final whistle as he stormed to the dressing room, but he could hardly complain. JPK, in my own opinion, Tottenham weren't that fantastic. Okay, really, he should have been relieved. Everton with better finishing would have stripped Tottenham naked. 1-0 as far as I'm concerned was a great favor, a great service to the Mourinho team that I saw yesterday. In real reality, that 1-0 did not reflect the authority that Everton displayed yesterday. Carlo Ancelotti's squad whooped and hollered at the final whistle and were fully entitled to celebrate. But in my own opinion, Mourinho should have been glad that this corner wasn't marked.
Well, Josie, seeing all these things, I wonder why they let go of Pochettino in the first place. Because, I mean, he's been there last season and then this season has begun. I'm not seeing why they let Pochettino go for Mourinho. I'm not seeing what they were trying to use Mourinho to achieve yet. My personal opinion, though, I'm not seeing it yet. Because for you to let go someone like Pochettino, who was really doing at least Poch, even if not 100% to where we ought to be, but at least
for me,
they were not this bad.
I thought Poch would have been able to galvanize the team. Would have been hard, I know, but and then after the game, Mourinho did not help. This is a hard love kind of thing. He somehow continued because he branded his players lazy, and blamed their abject opening weekend defeat to Everton on lack of intensity. I listened to him after the interview, the game yesterday. He started like this is a consequence of bad fitness and bad preseason.
Really?
Some players didn't even have a preseason. Some had the wrong state of mind. I did not like my team today.
So who's the...
We did not have the physical condition. We had no intensity. Hurricane has trained with us just once. Musa Sissoko just once for different reasons. Players have not been able to train. We had cases of positive coronavirus, and we had other players who had to quarantine, other players away with national team. He added, and I quote, "I will say it was a lazy pressure, and when you have lazy pressure, you don't press. You let opponents build from the back." And I'm sitting down, I'm trying to understand. Uncle Mao, I feel, there is need to somehow critically look at this whole Mourinho thing. I am beginning to think that maybe he's forgetting the fact that he also had the same preseason
as others. I'm wondering what's different from what experience he had that's different from that.
The season ended,
or even Leeds United. No, that means if it was Leeds that met with Mourinho yesterday, what would have happened?
Exactly. I've been wondering that. So I've been asking myself. I said, what would have been the case if it was a Leeds United team, a new Leeds United team that met with Mourinho yesterday? Because as far as I'm concerned, it would have probably been very, very hard.
The thing is that coaches sometimes make mistakes, managers make mistakes. We understand these things and they take responsibility for it. The thing lets go. But for Mourinho, you're making a mistake and you're not accepting the fact that it's your mistake. You have all the blame pushed to the players but yourself. That's even what makes it more annoying. And
that is where the whole problem is. Trying to justify it, that for me is the biggest problem. He needs to really sit down and accept the fact that, okay, this mistake, has been made. Let's move on from that. Anyway, let's move away from Jose Mourinho. It appears that the man is blaming everyone other than himself for the defeat yesterday. Let's talk about Liverpool. Boy, oh boy, that was the right way to start the Premier League season. That was a banger. It was absolutely a blockbuster of a game involving Jose Mourinho and Johan Klopp and Marcelo Bielsa. Now, it was a very, very end-to-end game. JPK, I couldn't have asked a better opening for a Premier League season.
You called it a ping pong. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Now,
like back and forth and back and forth.
Striker Mohamed Salah has started the season really hungry. JPK, watching the man chipping the goals at the weekend just tells you that he appears to be a striker reborn. It appears he's not lost his intensity. And Alisson Becker, the goalkeeper of Liverpool, says, if you think that Mo Salah is about to take his legs off the gas, you need to think again. After notching up 19 goals in the Premier League last season, the man is ready to take it a step further. Now, watching that thrilling 4-3 victory over Leeds United, it tells me that the Egyptian still got, that spark. So, at least I've seen one Liverpool player that has maintained that momentum. And then, I'm going to talk about Leeds United. I didn't think I was going to be talking about Leeds this morning, but they lost. But as far as I'm concerned, the losing was like a draw for me. I mean, everyone expected that they would be blown away by Liverpool. I remember the biggest Blue fan coming here and was like, yeah, the best they can get, maybe 3-0 defeat, But Leeds came, they saw, they pushed, they fought, they died standing. That is heroic for me.
Who would have thought Leeds from
the championship
absolutely will give Liverpool three goals.
Opening day of the
3 goals. Like it was back and forth. Now, barring that penalty, 88 minutes. It would have been a draw, for goodness sake.
On a very serious note.
Who would have thought that?
Leeds United.
And
okay, the return of Leeds officially is good for the Premier League. I don't know, but it's good for the Premier League.
The thing that is even worse is the fact that everybody now says if Leeds coming from the Championship can do this to Liverpool on an opening day, Liverpool they are in need for a lot this season.
I mean,
everybody wants to now come.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows. Once you're a champion, teams will come at you wanting to play 120%.
Yes, I understand. But if it was Man City who did yesterday, we understand that it's Man City. This is Leeds from the championship.
You gotta watch out. You have to watch out for Liverpool and the rest of the Premier League. Now, let's talk about Frank Lampard. He's decided to respond to our young club. I talked about one club, talked about some clubs owned by countries and the other ones owned by oligarchs. Whatever. Now, Frank Lampard has reminded young club that Chelsea have merely done what Liverpool already did by spending big in the transfer market. A ball had not been even kicked before the old rivals were renewed their attacks or verbal attacks on each other last week, with a club claiming that, some clubs, that are owned by oligarchs are already spending big, and the others are spending, the others owned by countries are already spending big, reinforcing, and they are Liverpool, and they cannot just change it overnight, yada, yada, yada. JPK, Frank yesterday reminded him, said, I know that Liverpool aren't owned by oligarchs or by countries, but they signed Virgil van Dijk, they signed Alisson Becker, they signed Fabinho, they signed Keita, they signed Mane, they signed Salah. So, what are we not talking about exactly? He said, listen, we have simply done half of what Liverpool have done. Why is he complaining? I see. Another my head, Nagara.
Epic.
Let's talk about Manchester United. They must prioritize our winning silverware this season instead of settling for a top 4 finish. Says that look short. They're going to social side finish the league season in 3rd position. Got to as far as the semi-final of the Europa League and also the FA Cup and then also the Carabao Cup. But Shaw says United need to get back to a winning ways, and the best way to do that is by winning a trophy. Let's talk about Arsenal. They started off their weekend on a very, very fantastic note. Fabulous, I have to admit. And everyone's got to watch out for Arsenal this season. There is something that I thought I liked about the team, JPK, at the weekend, and I'm hoping it continues going into the for the rest of the season. You could tell that there is a shift, paradigm shift. Somehow, I'm hoping it continues, as I'm saying. The Brazilians were Brazilian, brilliant. Aubameyang showed that he's not lost his touch. And the guy Gabriel Magalhaes came in and added some more skill at the back. I watched him command that back. I was like, wow, this guy is a good defender for this team. And to think that Mikel Arteta says Arsenal are still very much in the transfer market. They're still looking for reinforcement. That's a positive thing. Now, talking about looking for reinforcement, the Gunners have asked about Gijón Iceland international goalkeeper Runa Alex Runarsson as a possible replacement for Aston Villa-bound Emiliano Martinez. The 25-year-old showstopper made 14 appearances for League One outfit last season, but has failed to have any game time following the start of the 2020-2021 season. Runarsson, who has been linked to the move to a championship side Brentford in the past, was an unused substitute in England's 1-0 win over Iceland in the UEFA Nations League. And with Arsenal losing their backup, they are now going for Runarsson from Gijón. In France, yesterday, Paris Saint-Germain's poor start to the Ligue 1 campaign continued as they fell 1-0 at home to Marseille in a foul-tempered classic where 5 players, including Neymar, were sent off late on. JPK. Haven't been without 7 first-team stars for Thursday's loss to Lens. Thomas Tuchel was able to welcome 4 of his regulars back into the old fold on Sunday. Yet it was Andre Villebois' side who lost 4-0 in their corresponding fixture last season that claimed that the 3 points at Parc des Princes where a limited number of fans were allowed in attendance. Florent Thauvin, the first-minute volley settled the encounter, which ended in a ridiculous sense as a referee, Jerome Bessard, dished out red cards like confetti, following a stoppage time brawl. JPK was a really, really horrific scene. I want to call it the shame of Parc des Princes, having as much as 5 players sent off and all that. It was really, really sad. And then there's a race storm now that is brewing because Neymar has claimed that a Marseille player, called him star, and then called his mother star, and then added the part of the monkey, JPK. I don't know how that's gonna pan out. But this is a race time that the French league clearly doesn't need at this point in time. But I'm hoping that all these issues will be resolved as soon as possible. So it was a very, very bad-tempered encounter. In the end, I gotta give it to Marseille. They got all 3 points. Leon Goretzka says he's looking forward to partnering with Leroy Sané. Fred Ndidi made his first Premier League appearance of the season, then orthodox a centre-back role for Leicester City, who trounced West Bromwich Albion by 3 goals to 0.